You won't find these tricks anywhere else. I figured them out by trying, testing, and messing things up along the way. So take advantage of my experience and start trying out these tricks that surprisingly work every time. This is a little trick that you can use for a lot of different things, but I'll show you exactly what I use it for the most: acclimating fish to their new home. For this, you'll need a syringe, two check valves, some airline tubing, and a small T-connector. Those T-connectors usually come as spare parts when you buy an air pump. First, cut a short piece of airline tubing and connect it to the front of the syringe. Then use the T-connector to split that line into two directions. From there, add two longer pieces of airline tubing, put one check valve on each side, and on one end, attach an air stone. The air stone goes into the aquarium. The other open end goes into the container holding your new fish. This part is important. The direction of the check valves matters. The check valve on the aquarium side needs to allow water into the syringe when you pull. The check valve on the container side needs to allow water out towards the fish. When you pull the syringe, it draws water from the aquarium. When you push the syringe back, that water cannot return to the tank because of the check valve, so it's forced into the container with the new fish. You only need to do this once. After that, it creates a perfect siphon. You won't need any adjusting valves, and you won't need to guess the appropriate drip speed. The water continues dripping at a perfect control rate, and once you build this, you can reuse it for other things too, like pulling liquid out of CO2 diffusers or transferring small amounts of water cleanly and precisely. It's easy to make and it works beautifully. Making your own aquarium equipment is a lot more doable than you might think. There's a surprising amount of gear you can build yourself instead of buying, and a lot of it works just as well. One example is outflow lily pipes. I've made my own using nothing more than a plastic soda bottle. You cut the bottle at an angle using scissors or a box cutter, then you lightly heat the edges to smooth them out. That step is important, so there are no sharp edges that could hurt your fish. I made one almost a year ago, and I still use it in one of my tanks today. It's not the prettiest piece of equipment, but functionality-wise, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. You can also build your own filters. A canister filter can be made with a sealed bucket and a submersible pump. As long as everything is airtight, it works very well. And cascade filters are even easier to make. You place the pump inside the aquarium, run a hose to the bottom of a container, fill that container with filter media and some kind of chemical filtration, and when the pump turns on, water is forced through the media before flowing back into the aquarium. Making your own equipment can save you a surprising amount of money. DIY solutions often work just as well as store-bought equipment. They might not always look perfect, but they do the job, and the money you save can be put towards better plants, healthier fish, or improving the parts of the aquarium that actually matter. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below if you have any tips of your own that you'd like to share. Glass aquariums are beautiful, but they can get expensive very fast. A good rimless, low iron, 5-gallon tank can easily cost over $50. When you're first starting out, equipment cost adds up quickly. Tanks, lights, filters, soil, it can be a lot. I wanted to see if there was a cheaper way to keep a healthy aquarium without having to use a glass tank. So I decided to experiment. I bought a couple of plastic storage containers, and I set them up exactly like I would a normal aquarium. Soil, lighting, filtration, CO2, the whole setup. I had doubts when I started. I wasn't sure if the plastic would leach anything harmful into the water. I also wasn't sure if the containers could safely hold close to 30 gallons of aquarium water. But after running them, none of that became a problem. The containers held the water without bending or cracking. The plants grew extremely well, and the fish stayed healthy and active. I still have those setups running. No strange behavior and no unexplained losses. And each container cost less than $15. If you're just trying to grow plants for the first time, or you want to test layouts and different techniques, this is a very practical option. You still need proper lighting and filtration, and strong containers that won't flex, but the ecosystem doesn't care if the walls are glass or plastic. And once you're confident, you can move to a glass tank that you can display while already knowing the basics. This is a trick that I highly recommend because it's simple and extremely useful. Carpet plants can be difficult to grow, and once you finally get them healthy and established, throwing them away it's a real waste. But sometimes, when you're tearing down a tank to build something new, you realize you don't need them for the new setup. That's where this idea comes in. Every once in a while, when I'm trimming my carpet plants, I take those trimmings and save them instead of discarding them. I grab a small plastic cup, fill it with aquarium soil, and plant the carpet trimmings directly into that soil. I don't do anything special beyond that. No extra fertilizers or special lighting, just normal tank conditions. Then, I place those cups inside my other aquariums. You can hide them behind hardscape, tuck them near the back, place them where they are not visible. That way they don't affect the look of the aquarium at all. Over time, those trimmings root, spread, and become fully established. They stay healthy because they are still growing submerged, and they are already adapted to aquarium conditions. When I'm ready to use them again, I don't need to start from scratch. I simply move the cup into the new aquarium, position it where I want the carpet to be, and hide the plastic cup with small rocks or other hardscape, leaving only the plant visible. The result is a fully grown carpet, no long transition period and no melting. And it also saves money because you are reusing plants you already grew successfully. You might have seen this in tanks with heavy purling, or you might already be doing it without really knowing why. But the placement of a diffuser matters almost as much as having a diffuser. Most lily pipes create a downward and forward flow. That flow doesn't just move debris, it moves gas, nutrients, and dissolved CO2 through the water column. When a diffuser is placed randomly in the tank, CO2 bubbles raise straight to the surface. A lot of that gas escapes before it ever dissolves. When you place the diffuser directly in front of the outflow, the downward current pushes those bubbles down before they have time to float up. That extra contact time is everything. The longer CO2 stays on the water, the more of it dissolves into the water, and the less you waste. And you're not even adding more CO2, you're simply using what you already have more efficiently. This also helps with distribution. Instead of CO2 staying in one corner, the outflow carries it across the tank, reaching plant groups that would normally struggle, especially lower plants and carpets. Better distribution means more consistent carbon availability. Plants don't experience sudden heights and lows. Growth is more steady, and that alone can reduce algae problems, since CO2 distribution is closely related to problematic algae types, such as BBA. So, without touching light intensity and without increasing your CO2 dosage, you can drastically increase your aquarium's fighting chances against an algae bloom. If you have a trick like this that's saved you time, plants, or money, or if you've tried something similar with your own tanks, leave a comment below and share it. I'm always curious to see what works for you guys.